This is brand new on Netflix, and honestly, Cameron, we couldn't stop watching. We had to watch all six. Okay, so he's a lawyer. He's got a pregnant wife. They're young. They're in love. They got the house. They got the setup, and he's like, I'll be back. I'll be in and out trip. It's gonna be quick. He gets caught in the crosshairs, and so there's two rival gangs fighting each other in the prison riot, and the guy with the flamethrower says, who are you, right? What side are you on?
Yeah.
Man, and Diego's is like, hey, I just got.
It reminds me of actually a friend of mine who's Lebanese who said during the Lebanese Civil War in the 1980s that that the sort of tragic joke is that if you never knew who was going to confront you in the on the street. So some guy comes up to your car with a gun, says, "Are you Christian or Muslim?" And your response is, "I'm an atheist." Well, they go, "Are you a Christian or Muslim atheist?" Right? You can't win. you got to be with one or the other, right?
Yeah, he's like, yes. And if you notice too, and I know you saw the first episode, he's a do-gooder lawyer,
He's
humanitarian.
human rights guy.
He's a human rights. So his client is a trans.
Yeah, it's crimes. Yes, there are trans people in Mexico.
Well,
there are trans people in Pakistan.
in prison.
Yeah.
In prison,
Yeah.
and it shows you like this little population of the men dressed up whatever, and it's intense, guys. You feel, anyways. That's not part of it. That's just a little bit of the story in that character returns, but he takes you on this journey of what is happening, absolute fear, absolute paranoia, and anxiety. You're just like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you said, it's incredible. And people say in the chat, I mean, it looks gritty. It is gritty. You feel like you're there. I mean, we people complain about bad situations in American prisons. You got to be in Juarez to see what a prison is, and they try to show it. I mean, it's just there's 16 people to a 6-person cell, right? And most people are not in the cell. They are being basically forced to live and chained to a wall outside, and that's it's extreme, and you can see the desperation of men because these prisoners are all men in this circumstance, right? And or I guess there's a trans prisoner. I shouldn't say that, and the character is a trans prisoner, but it's and when they take control of the prison in the riot, it's really ugly. It's really scary. It's very real, and it's heart wrenching to watch. But and then he gives a speech, about you're like, first, because terrible people killing prisoners and guards and doing horrible things, but then he gives a speech about what they've endured. What they've endured is abuse in this prison, right? And now they're going to take the power back, right?
This is the great actor Noé Hernandez. He's been in a lot of films we've covered. Mexican actor. He plays the lead baddie that we think in the first episode.
Yeah.
And he's the one who leads the riot. Also, we get in this first episode that there's a hot commodity in the prison cell.
There's some prisoner that's important.
Yeah. Right.
That everyone wants.
I mean, you got to love this as a writer. Like, the setup is great.
Oh, it sounds good. There's mystery. A lot of this pilot episode is about this prisoner who you don't know who wants them, who doesn't want them. They're called, I think, accountants, so they seem to have some kind of financial information, maybe on their cartels, maybe on something else. But in some ways, it feels like watching the pilot is like, is this riot a cover to get this guy? Maybe it's not. I don't. But the mystery is very clear.
And then there's other actors you might recognize from Narcos Mexico, and they are all kind of peppered in. Also, too, what I really like, guys, because I was getting a little fatigued on another show with Mexican drug lords and this and that, is it's a little deeper than that. There's a lot going on with each of these characters. and that's why we just couldn't stop watching, especially the arc of the main character of Diego, and
Mhm,
this one too. But this one too. I mean, each of them you find to really love an aspect, even the worst of the worst in this.
mhm,
But Diego's character, it's a complete transformation from where he begins to where episode 6 ends,
mhm.
which Cameron, I think you're gonna love, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see the rest of it. I'm glad I saw the pilot. I'm sorry I couldn't watch more than that, but
So that's the new show called Prison Cell 211. It's got English subtitles. Right now, we just showed you the Spanish one, but if you're watching on Netflix, they even have a dub, which I don't recommend. I recommend you watch it. Let the
yeah, no, don't
line.
do the dub. Don't do the dub.
Don't do the English dub. It's
I
lame.
watched with subtitles. They're quick. You see what's going on. The acting is incredible. But
It is
again, even from
badass.
the point of view of the pilot, it's still very human. I mean, it's about these
Mhm.
people and like they show like this all happens when it's visiting hours when family and are coming to visit the prisoners, mostly women and the elderly grandma, and they get trapped in this, right? And then one of the I think the best actors that I saw last night
Mhm.
was the one playing Diego's wife, right? The pregnant
She's
wife. I mean, you can't get your eyes off of her. She's so good. I'm like, I want to see where she
and
goes.
she's got that different beauty about her.
Yeah,
She's not like an Isa Gonzalez or Lope. Like
she's very real. She's very visceral.
yeah, but she very visceral and just very charming. I don't know, like you're just taken
Yeah,
in by.
there's a magical vibe to her, which is interesting because she's playing this pregnant woman, sweaty and pregnant, and dealing with the
Mhm.
crisis of her husband being trapped, right? Or at least the pilot, she doesn't fully understand what's happened. You can tell from the trailer she will, but yeah. So it's this is I mean it's high recommend for me. I'm glad again. Paulie gives good recommendations, and I wouldn't have watched this show. I wasn't even aware of it had Paulie not asked me to look at it.